What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another fantasy football video. This one's going to be, is Ezekiel Elliott worth a first-round pick? And I guess the simple answer, if you don't feel like watching the rest of this video, is no. He's not. And I've had a lot of trouble with this. I've already recorded this once, and I just wasn't happy with that one. I watched the preseason game last night, and it's really tough. I basically just sat down and in both standard and PPR, I just wrote down guys that I know I have rankings. I know he isn't ranked inside the first round, but I wrote down a list 1 through 12 of guys that if I'm on the clock, who I would draft ahead of him. And in PPR, it was pretty easy to name. I named at least, I think, 14 guys before I just stopped writing names down. But basically, I looked at the wide receivers and said, okay, what wide receivers would I rather have than Ezekiel Elliott in PPR? And there's a pretty long list. I mean, obviously, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Odell, Green, Hopkins, Marshall, Allen Robinson, and Dez. That's 8. That's 8 guys that I don't think I could make a case for taking Ezekiel Elliott before any of them. So you have 8. So now there's only 4 spots left. And I could pretty easily name 4 running backs I'd rather have than Ezekiel Elliott, even in PPR scoring. Just to name a few is Lamar Miller, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, Jamal Charles, and Adrian Peterson. That's 6. So right there, you already have 14 guys that I would take ahead of Ezekiel Elliott. I think you can make the case for Alshon Jeffrey ahead of him. You can make the case for Mike Evans. You can make the case for Keenan Allen. So he's definitely not worth a first-round pick in PPR. Then I went to standard and it was a little more difficult. I still started off with the obvious Antonio, Odell, Julio, AJ Green. Those guys should not be taken after Ezekiel Elliott. There's no way. But then the only wide receivers that made the list after that were Allen Robinson, Dez, and Hopkins. So there's only 7. Then I looked at the running backs, and I had to name 5 this time, and it was exactly 5. It was Gurley, David Johnson, AP, Lamar Miller, and Jamal Charles. I'd take all of those guys ahead of Ezekiel Elliott. I know there are knocks on all of those guys. I mean, Gurley, they are going to stack the box, but they did that last year, and he's a fantastic talent. He's the only guy they have, so they have to get him involved. They have to give him like 25 touches a game. David Johnson's on an amazing offense, just has every opportunity to explode this year. AP's Mr. Consistent. Lamar Miller has every opportunity to explode this year, and he's done it before, whereas Ezekiel Elliott, I know he's a great talent. I know he's got that O-line, but he's never actually done it before. And he's a rookie, and rookies generally hit a rookie wall come playoff time, which is when you need him to perform the most. And then the last guy that bumped him out was Jamal Charles. I know that he's torn both his ACLs. I know he's 29, but to be honest, those injuries have lessened his workload. Because, I mean, he's missed a full season with an ACL injury, so he doesn't have the workload that Adrian Peterson has. And I think in that offense, he's better than Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think I can make the case for taking Elliott before him. So it's PPR and standard. In half point, it would just be a mixture of the two. But if he doesn't make it in either list, then he's just not going to make it. So I would not personally draft Elliott in the first round. I think that maybe if you have like the 10 pick, taking him with your second pick would be better, just because I want a safety in my first pick, and I could name at least 12 guys in both scoring formats that are safer picks that have just as much upside as Ezekiel Elliott. So that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you watched this far, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.